The topic of the video today is going to be why bars and clubs are not the best place to meet women. You're really going to stand out and really differentiate yourself when you're able to meet women at places such as Whole Foods, Trader Joe's, the mall, and in your day-to-day life. And so, guys, we're going to break down why, and we're going to break down some of my key experiences. You're not going to hear any information like this on any other channel on YouTube. So for those of you that are new to the channel, guys, I used to be ranked 3rd in the world in Call of Duty. I was an absolute loser, especially with women. And then I went on a 10-year massive self-improvement journey, and I made this channel to document my learnings along the way. So guys, in bars and clubs, women, A, they get approached a lot. B, they're usually tipsy. It's usually loud. Sometimes, you're talking to the girl, she can't hear you. You're shouting into her ear, right? They go, what? Wait, what'd you say? Also, people are stepping on her toes, nudging you guys as they walk by, right? It's very hard, unless you're very advanced, to keep a woman's attention in the nightlife environment, okay? That's one point. A second point is she's usually with her friends, right? So she's going to look like a hoe if she goes home with you alone. Also, a lot of women in group dynamics, they think it's actually cool, or they get like an ego boost to reject you. Also, another point is the friends might absolutely cock block you, right? They might be jealous, which is a very common one, right? Or they might just pull the girl away. There's been many times where the friends just pull the girl away, and the girl's like, well, wait, like, he was nice, like, I liked it. And then they're just like, no, we're going. So those are a few reasons. Other reasons why guys are in nightlife settings, women truly, they believe that you have liquid courage, right? There's a lot of guys out there, and most guys, right, they could approach a woman and show intent and try to get her number if they were tipsy or drunk. But they could never do it stone cold sober at 1 o'clock on a Sunday at Whole Foods. And this is what will differentiate you. This is what will separate you from the crowd. So when you talk to a girl at Whole Foods, right, she automatically is thinking, wow, this guy's got a lot of balls. Like, I could tell he's not drunk, it's in the middle of the daylight. Also, you differentiate yourself because she gets hit on in bars and nightclubs all the time, right? You don't really stand out as unique. How many times do you think she gets hit on Whole Foods, like directly, cold approached at a Whole Foods or a Target per year? Maybe a handful. Bars and nightclubs would be, a handful per time she goes out. So you really separate yourself. Also, she's not going to be with her friends, right? So it's truly a one-on-one dynamic. It's not going to be loud and hard to keep her attention, right? She's going to hear you out, right? There's no alcohol involved on either side. She's really going to hear you out usually. Okay? Also, think about it from a woman's perspective. They're obsessed with that story of how we met, They don't want to say, oh, we met on Bumble, we met on Hinge, Tinder, right? They want to say, oh, we met, organically in Whole Foods, and he just came up to me and he just looked at me and he had to come say hi, right? They love that shit. So it's a better story of how you met. You could keep her attention better. She thinks you have extreme courage and balls, and it just has that better masculine energy to it, as opposed to like that sleazy energy of approaching her in a nightlife environment. Again, you're going to have no friends that are cock block you. Also, a lot of upper echelon girls, so women that have a higher socioeconomic status, that really take care of themselves, their health, their bodies, right? They're going to be at these higher end places such as a Whole Foods or luxury malls, or Trader Joe's is a very popular one, right? So you also have the ability to meet a really high caliber quality of woman that usually isn't out at these nightlife environments. You want to use the false time constraint as well. Like, so, I would just go up and be like, hey, this is super random. I actually got to get going in a second, but I just noticed you. I just wanted to come and say hi. What's your name? Right? That's usually how the interaction kind of goes down. And, a lot of guys are paranoid, worried. This was me in my first few cold approaches I ever did. Was what if she says she has a boyfriend? What if she's, taken? What do I do? It's so awkward. A lot of guys, if the girl goes, oh, sorry, I have a boyfriend, they'll be like awkward. What do I do? Or then a lot of guys, they'll start trying to talk shit like about the guy, which I think is really low value. But here's just what you say, guys. It just, steal my line, keep it in your back pocket. This is what I say. If they go, hey, sorry, I have a boyfriend, I'm going to say, oh, yeah? I'm going to say, well, he's a really lucky guy with a smile. He's a really lucky guy. You have a great rest of your day. So, guys, a few other thoughts that I have on this topic are, if you're able to approach women in a Whole Foods or a Trader Joe's, it's going to level up your social skills, your charisma, your cold approach skills way, way, way harder and quicker. And the reason why is it's deeper exposure therapy than it is as opposed to going out to the nightlife, right? So guys, let me give you an example. I went ahead and did this last week. I'm still talking to the girl. She's been traveling. Then I'm about to be out of town this weekend. So the first girl I went up to, I actually have a date lined up with her. She's very adorable. We have a lot in common. And, once you become really good at this, right, this is something that you'll never age out of, which is a key here. So what do I mean by that? I'm 31 years old. I feel like I maybe have 4 more years left in the nightlife scene, but let's be honest. I'm not recovering as quick. Hangovers really affect me. And when you're 36, walking around a nightclub with 23-year-olds, it's a little creepy. It's a little weird. Whereas just going to the mall, going to Whole Foods, right? You could do this at any point in time, at any age. And so, guys, I'm going to introduce you right now to a concept that I call the Marathon Cold Approach Day. So this is what I did last weekend or 2 weekends ago. So what you'll do is, you'll go to 3 different Whole Foods. Maybe you need to buy, groceries for the week. You'll split it up into like 33% each store. So you'll go to 3 different Whole Foods, buy a little something there. It's kind of weird if you just have nothing and you walk in and you walk out. Go to a few Targets in the area. Go to a few Tom Thumbs in the area. Go to your high-end mall in the area, right? So you already just went to 8 different establishments. Try to approach a girl at every single Whole Foods, at every single Trader Joe's, at every single Target, and then 2 or 3 at the mall. And, that's how you astronomically get better at dating women. That's how you build a pipeline. That's how you build a rotation. And that's how you find, if you want as well, a relationship with a really high value quality girl. And guys, most guys, they can't do this because their ego gets in the way. They're too insecure. They don't feel good enough about themselves. And this is really how you separate yourself and how you create an abundance mindset with women. I know that I'll always have women available at my disposal or to be able to hang out with if I want them. And it's truly liberating to be able to do this at any time. And if you need help, guys, I'll be honest, maybe just have, if you have to do it, have 2 beers or like a Truly before you go do this during the day, right? It does help a little bit, right? But guys, ultimately, those are kind of my thoughts regarding why, bars and nightclubs, they're really not the best place to meet women anymore. You're really going to separate yourself and differentiate yourself from just a sheer alpha, confident, like, wow, like this guy's got a lot of balls. Like he just walked up to me as I'm buying avocados. Like, damn, like this guy, they love that shit. It's like they feel hunted more so in a bar. It's just like, another guy, false courage. And so guys, would love for you to drop your comments down below. Again, I've made a lot of different content on this channel and, not just regarding cold approach, but self-development. And I'm going to release other videos as well. A lot of guys that are watching this video might say, oh, that works for you, but, it only works for handsome guys or tall guys. Guys, again, if I could do it, anyone could do it based on where my starting point was. And, the prerequisites before you go to Whole Foods and attempt this, which I've talked about in other videos, is you need to spend at least 6 months leveling up your fitness to the highest degree. You need to start eating clean. You need to start working on your social skills. You need to start dressing better. You need to try to, if you have no experience really in that department, you need to try to, hook up with a few girls, gain some, sexual confidence, right? So once you've kind of leveled up, such as I have, now you could go applying it to the real world at Whole Foods, right? Because listen, if you're 300 pounds, you put in no work, you're a virgin and you're just a loser, don't expect to walk into Whole Foods and be able to do this with very beautiful women and it's going to work, right? You have to put the work in first and then you could then reap the rewards, which still takes a lot of effort in doing what I described in the video. So guys, appreciate you tuning in and I'll see you in the next video.